Welcome back to another video everyone. Today I'll give you a quick overview of how I would go about strumming with my hands. I get a lot of comments asking me, how do I strum with my hands? Help, it hurts, my hands are bleeding, I can't use a pick either. Do not worry, in this video I'll give you 2 ways to go about strumming with your hands without the pain, without the struggle, and with the fun. Let's get into it. So before we get straight into it, I'll go over a few reasons why you'd want to use your fingers and thumb to strum rather than relying on a pick. So number one, I think if you can strum with your fingers, it makes it much easier to transition between styles of playing. For instance, if you've got a fingerstyle piece that you're playing, but it also has a strumming section in it, you'll be alright. You don't have to stop, pick up the pick, and then play. You can just easily transition between the fingerstyle without a pick to then just strumming with your fingers. And the second reason, I think it really delivers a different tone with a pick. It's much more gentle and almost calmer if you use your fingers and especially the thumb. Whereas if you use a pick, whilst you can pick out individual notes and it's crisper, at the same time it might be a bit harsher if you want a gentler sound. And now the third, and if not best reason for strumming with your fingers, is you'll never again have to rely on a pick. So if you forget it, it's not the end of the world. Alright, so when it comes to actually playing with your fingers, I think there's 2 main ways to go about this. Now the first way that you can go about learning to strum with your fingers is to almost imagine that you're holding a pick. So you're going to take your hand, pinch very gently your fingers together. Now it doesn't have to be hard. They just need to touch and it makes it a more solid shape to strum. And when you're doing this, you're going to be using the nail of your first finger. And you don't need long nails for this, you're just using the upper surface of your finger to drag along the strings. So to get used to it, you can just take your finger, forget about the thumb at this point, take your finger and just drag the nail over the strings to get that nice sound. Once you've got that, just bring in the thumb. Remember, keep it a little bit back so it's overlapping slightly, and then bring it together. And remember, keep your hand nice and relaxed. And what you can also do in this is use that thumb, which is slightly hanging over, almost as a pick itself, and you won't get the same accuracy that you do with a pick in reality, but you'll still be able to isolate certain areas that you want. So if you want the bass, you can aim with your finger, which is sticking out, to hit those notes, and same thing with the higher strings. Now the second way that you can go about strumming with your hands and without a pick is to use your thumb. And now I think this is maybe the one you should learn first. It's easier in my opinion, and you're just going to use the skin of your thumb this time, not the nail like the first way, but the thumb, so it'll be a more gentle and softer sound. And you're just going to gently do that, stroke, stroke. Just run your thumb over the guitar and the strings and get that nice sound. And this way you can get a really nice soft rhythm in the background. You can't as much isolate certain sounds, so you can't play a riff with it as you would with a pick if you were doing like a guitar riff or something, but it's nice rhythm background if you were playing in a band or singing. And now when you do the thumb strum, you can also strum it on the way back up using your nail. So you strum down, and then like we did with the finger, where we're just dragging the nail across, you can then drag the thumbnail back up like that. Now, once you've got the imaginary pick and the thumb strum down, I think the best way to practice them is simply just by practicing them with strumming and a chord progression. Now I'll give you a quick and easy chord progression that you can do here, involving only one chord shape, so if you haven't learnt many other chord shapes, you'll be alright. So all you need here is the E major chord shape, and you form this by using your first finger on the third string, and that's third up from the bottom. So if this is the first, second, this would be your third, with your first finger on the first fret, and then you'd have your third finger on the next string up, but on the second fret. So that's the fourth string, second fret, and then you'd have your middle finger on the fifth string, this one, on the second fret again. So that's the E major chord shape. And then what you can do to have a nice little strumming chord pattern that you can use to practice is bring this up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th frets. So if the 6th fret is here, this is the 7th fret where the dot is, if you have a dot on your guitar. Keeping the same shape, with these, you keep all the other strings open, so it's only these ones that are holding down. And then you can also bring this up 2 more frets, so 1, 2, to have another chord, and then just practice. So imaginary pick. So now we can implement the techniques we've just learnt, the imaginary pick and the thumb strum, and use them with this chord progression to really practice, get in the reps, and get it down in no time. So wow. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed that quick overview of how to strum with your fingers. I know I get a lot of comments saying, help, I can't strum with a pick. Don't worry, neither can I. So you can use these techniques to strum with your fingers, and using that chord progression, practice it easily. Now if you've already mastered these techniques and the chord progression I showed you, go check out this video to give you some tips on how to learn any chord you want in seconds, literally, as well as chord changes to help expand your chord vocabulary, so that the strumming will sound even cooler. Thank you for watching. Do please hit that like button, subscribe, share with anyone who you think will enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.